go.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to The Sounding. We aim to provide sexual trauma survivors with a path towards healing in order to tell their stories. Thank you for being here. Before we get started, we like to always let you guys know that while we are not therapists, lawyers, doctors, we are just two people here having genuine conversation about things that interest us and sometimes concern us. So again, thank you for being here.
Yes, please take a minute to like, subscribe, comment, share. I know that in the beginning when you first start having videos, everybody's enthusiastic and they're watching and then they forget to subscribe. So I have people say to me all the time, oh, I didn't know you were still doing videos. And we are. We're uploading a lot of videos with really important content for healing. So we're in an age now where people claim that they want to heal, but part of the healing process is actually investing the time and watching things and learning. And Shay and I have both done that. So we are trying to
and
now,
are still doing
that, right? And so we're trying to condense everything that we've learned into short videos for you all, almost like healing for dummies, if you will.
Yeah, 101s. I love that. Little crash courses.
Right. So take the time to watch our videos. I mean, they really are filled with helpful information. And one of the things that we like to do is a Sound Off Sunday, which is where we kind of just talk back and forth, get to know, let you guys get to know us and really learn a little bit about each other. So my suggestion for this Sound Off Sunday was to talk about love, because Valentine's Day just came and went. And that used to be a super triggering holiday for me because I never felt like I got acknowledged, even though as a giver, I was always acknowledging people. And this was like my first year where I did not care. I am single. I am happy about it. I am loving myself. And I thought, how sad is it that we have all this societal pressure to be in relationships or to be part of a couple? And, you know, sometimes you got to take a pause and work on yourself and heal and then align with a beautiful person, because most people are out here in situations that don't honor them and they're forcing it. And we're really not able to talk about the fact that there is space for being single. There is space for taking time to figure out who you are, no matter what age you are. So anyway, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I'm really trying to lead life in love right now, and I feel very loving and loved, but I'm not in love, if that makes sense.
Are you in love with yourself? I always think of this as more of like a self-love,
yes,
like affirmation, not even exploration. Like single or not, there's always space for self-love, and for me that comes first. Like,
yeah, I think
if you're not loving yourself, right, you're not going to be able to be full in a relationship.
Right. And then you expect the other person to fill in holes for you because you don't love yourself. And listen, yes, I do more than ever before. I love myself.
Yeah.
However, with that said, I recently have a psychic friend that I've been hanging out with, and she was like, I just feel unworthiness. And I'm like, yes, that's it. I love myself and I know what I'm capable of giving, but I think at the core of it, as a survivor of trauma, sexual and other trauma, like that unworthiness still lingers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's getting to that place of how do you figure out how to align with and allow yourself to get the love that you desire.
Yeah. So I'm married. This summer will be our 11th anniversary.
Yes.
We've been together, right? I think so. We got married in 2013. It's 2024. Yeah, 11. But before I met him, I was in two abusive relationships, but the second one was really abusive. And then I ended up moving out of that, kicking him out. I moved out of that apartment, moved into my own studio apartment, truly like this Sex in the City, like dream studio apartment in Hyde Park, Chicago. And as cliche as it sounds, but I took that time to date myself. And I might have talked about this before in other videos, but that didn't mean I wasn't dating other people. I sure was going on dates because I was taking myself on dates, but also allowing myself to be taken out on dates because I was teaching myself how to be treated better.
Yeah.
And to receive being treated that way. What that also allowed me to do was explore things that I've always wanted to do. Like, I started going to cross training classes in the morning. I started running almost every day along the lake that I wanted to do. I was walking to the grocery store in my neighborhood and like putting myself out there again. And that's when I met Rich, was like a year later.
Yes.
And literally I met him like a month after I had a breakdown, talking to my mom saying, you know what, I'm never going to fall in love again.
Right.
Not that I don't believe in love. I'm super romantic at heart, but I just didn't want any more heartbreak. I didn't want to feel that pain anymore. And I also looked at the world like, wow, I don't even want to get in a relationship where there's a possibility of having kids because this world is cruel. I can't bring kids in.
Yes.
And then so here I am.
Right. With kids.
I meet
and a
Rich
husband.
a month later. And then I really truly believe that it was because I was taking time to date myself. And this not to also say that Rich and I are going to be together forever. I'm just saying to what Dina was speaking to as far as like, you're going to be on the same frequencies with that list of your perfect partner if you're doing that list for yourself.
Right.
I met him at the gym.
Yeah. And I think, that's the thing too, is it's hard to have everything, all your ducks in a row, right? You might be eating healthy, or you might be going to the gym, or you might be doing meditation, or you might be like, there's lots of different healing places, but are you doing all of them? Like that's a lot. A lot of the times we're like, well, I'm working out right now, but I'm not eating the best. And so it's really getting to that place where you do start to love yourself on all levels. And then align with somebody that also loves themselves on all levels, which that's not an easy thing to find these days, So
and maybe hasn't ever really been.
Maybe not.
We're not taught this.
Right. And I think we need to be with partners that are willing to talk about things, right? And you're growing at the same level.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you're necessarily on the same level, but you're at least doing the work together.
Yep.
And, allowing yourself to let go of something that no longer serves you. Like, sometimes I was married for 25 years. That's a long time. And not many people make it to that. And to be married for 25 years and now to be single, like, wow, that's a huge adjustment. But I'm here for it, for feeling it, for understanding what that feels like to be alone and to enjoy my own company. I didn't get that my Sex in the City age. I'm doing that now, and I know I'll have love again. I do, in my soul and every part of my being. I know. And I think in the beginning I was anxious for it, so I thought, I'm just going to go out there and I'll find someone else that's on their healing path, and then we'll create together. And it's like, no, don't look for it. Like, I think it is that old cliche, when you stop looking for it, it'll find you. And it sounds like, I know obviously we've talked about that a lot with you, that's where you were at. And I am finally at that place, I think, where I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's going to happen when it happens.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of sound healings by myself. I go out to eat. I do things that are way outside of my comfort zone.
Well, and I guess my next question would be then, why? Because it makes me think of you saying, you had talked about us talking about this and bringing up how, media pushes this idea of being in love, right, on us. And it almost sounds like you are judging yourself for caring about wanting to be in love and saying, well, now I don't.
It's not that I don't want to be.
And then I'm wondering, do we get influenced to care?
I think so, because I think from the moment we're born, we're watching relationship things, right? That's what the movies are filled with. That's what the shows are filled with. And so,
well, and from a sociological perspective, we are not meant to do this
alone,
world
right.
alone.
And maybe if we had a better sense of community,
yeah,
where like it wasn't just about that one relationship, but you know, we had neighbors that we knew, or family suppers that we were going to, or you know, familial things that we were going to on a regular. But it seems like none of that stuff, especially since COVID. But even before that, we were getting away from sense of community. And so I think then you feel like, well, one person will do everything for you. And that doesn't work either. It's not that I don't care. I do. I want to have my person. But I also know that I want it in a real way. I don't want it just because it feels good to have like I was lonelier in my marriage than I am alone. You know? Yeah. So learning to be alone is beautiful, and then if somebody comes along that I find is worthy of my time, which I really am enjoying now, then I'll make space for that person. Before, I was just like, hurry up and find somebody and then I'll start my life again. And I'm like, no, do what makes you happy and align with somebody. I do think it's all about alignment. So an alignment, like Shay and I have talked about this before. Like we met each other at a yoga thing that she was having, and then you know we weren't able to talk the way that we thought. Then we saw each other in a parking lot. Then we saw each other at this journey, and it was just like in our faces. But yesterday, because I'm writing my second book, I was going through all these notes, and I had these notes from a chakra class that I had gone to like 3 years ago. 2 years before I met Shay. And so I'm looking at my notes and I pull something out that shows the back side of the note, and there it says Shay and her number. And I was like, oh, we met 2 years before we even knew that we met. Right. And I said to her, I just feel like drawn to work with you. So that's alignment. And God or whatever was like, these two women are supposed to be together. And we were just constantly pushed. So I think my point is that what is meant for you will find you. And we're so afraid that we're going to turn left when we should have turned right, or say no, or say yes to something that, and I think that God will continue, or source or energy will continue to put that thing in your path until you are ready to align with it. So, you know. Yeah. That's my belief system. And love is a beautiful thing, but it's not just about romantic love. Like the love that we have, the love we have for our children, for animals, for nature, for food.
One of my most favorite books is All About Love by Bell Hooks. And she talks a lot about love in her definition, and some things that I pull from it is that love is about helping nurture someone's spiritual growth. Not just about, you know, putting a roof over their head or, you know, making them dinner. It's truly like seeing them and having compassion and empathy and holding space for someone to make mistakes. Yes. But I also, you know, book aside, one of my most favorite things I live by is, we all talk about unconditional love. Having, you know, unconditional means no conditions, but I say that there is one condition to unconditional love, and that's healthy boundaries. Yes, absolutely. And you can still nurture someone's spiritual growth while having healthy boundaries and loving them from afar. Yeah. You know? Absolutely. And I think when you are a healer by nature and you have a tendency to want to give to other people and do the work and be here and hold light and be that vessel, that you are going to run into people that try to take some of that from you. And so it is important to understand, like, I have strong boundaries around certain things. Absolutely. Like, you'll never let me see somebody call me out of my name or be rude or talk smack, you're not going to get me to be angered. That's very rare. And that's amazing. And it took me a long time to get there. But when it came to men, I did not have good boundaries. Like, I all of a sudden became like a simp, like freaking idiot. Like, who are you? So I think it is important to understand what your weaknesses are, what your triggers are. Like, some things we have really porous boundaries, some things strong boundaries. So loving yourself
and really listening to your instincts and your gut and getting back to that inner child stuff we always talk about, like that safety net. And then allowing love in, you know, because so many people have unhealthy relationships, whether it be with their family, their children, their loved one, their lover. So it's really establishing healthy relationships and boundaries. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of people in my life.
We have a video on.
We do have a video on. I have a lot of people in my life right now that they're in my life, but they're not in my life. Like, I'll see you for holidays. I can hold space. We can acknowledge each other, but
I always call it like knowing where to keep people.
Yeah.
Like, I know where to keep people.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. It is true. So
you stay over here. You can come in. You are way over there.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is realizing that nobody really knows what's going on in your personal life. Like this year for Valentine's Day, I didn't even remember it was Valentine's Day until I think 7 o'clock at night. My child came home.
even celebrate, just so you all know.
But I think that's one of those triggering things for people.
But and I think that's because as
society,
the media forces it down our throat to consume these holidays.
Like nobody gave you chocolates. Like God forbid, nobody gave you a flower. But there's so much money.
I'd rather get a flower on a random day.
Heck yeah, because then you know it's from a real.
Then you know
place.
it's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's start really questioning societal norms and are they really normal? Because I don't think it is. I don't think it's normal to expect somebody to one day a year all of a sudden do nice things for you and meet a certain expectation, and then you're mad if they don't. It causes problems. It causes frictions.
When half the time you don't even communicate clearly what it is you want, so they can't read your mind, and then you're playing this game that is just vicious to each other.
So, I mean, the way to win, I saw this meme recently where it was a GIF or whatever the heck. But it was like all these people, these rich people playing Monopoly, and the table was the backs of all the poor people. And it was like, all we have to do is stand up. And that's as simple as Valentine's Day or Christmas or all of it. Like, let's say no to all of this nonsense that keeps us in a lack of feeling and depressed and anxious.
Right. Because we are, like, in a lack of feeling loved.
Yeah.
Like, they are trying to get us to consume because we feel there's a space we need to fill.
Well, you're empty,
and if
right?
we feel full of our own love, then we don't need to be consuming any of this stuff. Even this idea that somebody else is going to make you happy.
Yes, because that's the thing. If you're not happy by yourself, you're not going to be happy somewhere else. No matter wherever you go, you're taking yourself with you. And I think it's interesting because Valentine's Day, I can't even imagine what they make on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And now, because there's so many people out there that are single and women that are, single either by choice or just because we've emasculated them. But that's a whole other issue. Like now we have Valentine's Day. So now they got another day where they're making money off of us and this idea that we're somehow broken or unlovable because we didn't have a Valentine. So now we're going to have Galentines with our girlfriends. Anyway, about it, they're just making money off of our sadness. So how about let's love ourselves first and then worry about everything else and everyone else. Yeah. Walk like Jesus.
It's super easy too to love yourself, right?
Yes, it really is easy to love yourself. I mean, that's true. I was just going to look on my phone. I should have had this prepared, but I had a quote that came up, and I think that it'll make sense. I hope so. But I need a second to find it. So, yes. And, it even starts when we're kids on Valentine's Day when, I don't know, when I was young, you didn't have to give everybody in your class a Valentine.
Oh, you definitely, at my kids' school, you have to, if you invite everyone, if you have a birthday party and invite one person in your class, you have to invite the whole class. Yeah. So you definitely, everybody getting Valentines.
Yes. I think that quote is for another time, so I'll get back to it. But yeah, so it's just, let's just take a chance to breathe and think about what it feels like to be loved and how are you loving yourself and how are you loving others. And, isolation is a beautiful thing. Being alone is a beautiful thing. It really is when you learn to love yourself. So yeah, I don't know that we really have a sacred healing practice for this, other than, just give yourself some love.
Maybe journal about what does love mean to you. Define love for yourself.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then be able to move from that space because now you know what it means.
Right. And if you didn't get it as a child, then understand that, you may have to learn all about it. So.
And look into the idea of reparenting yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. We do have inner child stuff. So. All right. Well, those are our wandering thoughts for the day on love.
Sound off Sunday.
Sound off Sunday. All right.
We love
subscribe.
you.
We do love you. And we love ourselves.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Namaste. Light and love.
Oh, yeah. You said like, comment, subscribe.
Right. All that fun stuff. All right. Mwah.
Well, because when
survivors speak,
the silence ends.
Yes. Forgot about
Bye.
that. Sound off.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Positive.
All right.
I did have a quote, but I don't know where I put it.